Hey everyone, and welcome to another video of Shit is Getting Real. The life has been real. What we've been avoiding. First of all, before I start, my name is Naffy. Welcome to my channel. I feel so just light and just popping or whatever. I've been so into myself lately. It's crazy, but why wouldn't you be into yourself? So I just feel like life has gotten so real. Like what we've been facing lately, I feel like we finally taken the veil off. I feel like we're finally facing what we've been afraid to face, or we've been putting on the back burner because we feel like our world is changing and racism is somewhat ending. When racism is at its highest exposure, I feel like it's the most open it's ever been. So with everything going on, like I always say, what I've said in my videos, your mental health and just keeping yourself sane and just doing things that are outside of what we're facing daily is important, so that you can unplug, so that you can unwind, so that you can give your mind a break from having to face your reality. Because from the moment you wake up and have that little 5 minutes of days, you realize that the world isn't where you'd like it to be, and that you have to face this world as it is every day, which is hard for us Black people. Here I am with 5 tips on how to unplug and unwind. So I'm going to start off with, first of all, you guys need to, if you have friends, if you have cousins, like people that you can basically confide in and just be very open when you talk, find that person, find those people, because that's been helping me a lot too. These are things that I'm doing, and I know a lot of other people are doing. So I've been talking to my friends, just not holding things in, letting them out, expressing my feelings and how I'm feeling and how all this is making me feel. So I feel like talking to someone, if you can't afford therapy, if you can't afford to talk to someone that is things like that, find a friend. I'm not saying that friend is an expert, but sometimes just letting things out helps a lot. So my second tip is writing. I can confess, I have about 5 or 6 diaries right here at the bottom of my bookshelf. I definitely write. I've been writing at such a young age, and journaling and diarying and doing whatever I can just to let things out. Even talking, writing, those things really help, because sometimes we bottle things in or we just don't want to talk about it. Even making these videos helps me, honestly. So make sure you talk to someone, write, work out, honey. Get that anger out, get all that out. Working out, especially when you have anxiety and depression and things like that, working out takes away from that and any frustration that you're holding, especially these times. Oh, I be one to 1-2 people, but especially where I work, because I work in a predominantly white area. But I just be one to box white people that come to me crying because of everything that's going on, but they have privilege. They're not going through what I'm going through, but they're crying to me about what I'm going through. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? No. Look past that. Working out helps me so much. I work out almost 7 days a week, and sometimes 2 days out of the week or 3 days out of the week, I work out twice. Because that's just, not only am I trying to get down, you know what I mean, to a little 180 pounds or whatever, but that's just what I need to stay sane. Doing all these things, talking to someone, working out, writing, is helping me. Also reading, honey, get into it. You know what I mean? It's never too late to read a little book. But one book that I always love and I will always recommend is The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. So my 4th tip is read, sis. Read, sis. It ain't gonna hurt you to get some education. You can read other books that are educational, which I do both, baby, because during the school year I'm reading probably each semester 10 to 20 books at a time, because I'm a minor in African American studies, so you tend to read a lot of books in that minor. Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier is just so raw, eye-opening, and just real life. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, so I'll post a picture up of the book right there, and you guys can check it out if you'd like. Yeah, that's my recommendation to you guys. Read, write, work out, talk to someone, and my final and last recommendation are podcasts. I listen to podcasts while I'm at work. I listen to podcasts while I'm driving. I don't tend to listen to music a lot because in Islam it's haram, but No one's perfect, so sometimes I do listen to music, but I don't tend to listen to music. I tend to listen to podcasts more. While I'm working, I listen to podcasts. My job is like a physical job, so I walk a lot, so I listen to my podcast while I'm walking. So let me give you guys 5 podcasts to listen to, especially if you're a woman, if you're a black woman, and even if you're a black man, like if you're not a black man. But I'm recommending these to black people because they are made for and by black people. So let's talk about the Receipts podcast, honey. That podcast is popping. I love the Receipts podcast. I've been listening to it a lot lately. I just love them. First it was 4 girls, now it's 3, and those 3 girls, Tali, Audrey, and Melina are just like the loves of my life. The advice they give, the things that they talk about, I love that I can relate. They're based in the UK, and my second podcast is Black Girls Living. That's also my shit. Yeah, Black Girls Living, the things that they talk about, it's really real life. Like, the Receipts podcast, they do dilemmas, and they have episodes where they do dilemmas, then the episode they talk regular, then they do a dilemma, then they talk regular. But this one, Black Girls Living, all of their episodes are just basically talking about life, their experiencing racism, colorism, microaggressions, what they experience in the medical field from doctors by just being black, or having anxiety and just having mental illness and things like that, what they experience, like going through life, being African, being Nigerian, just dealing with life, period. And it's so relatable, like especially if you're an African girl, if you're a Nigerian girl. These podcasts that I'm naming out are very helpful. If you're black, they're very helpful and relatable. And that's what I love about these podcasts. Like, you always feel like what you're going through and everything that you're dealing with, it's only you. But at the end of the day, you'd be so shocked to see that so many other people deal with the same thing. And there's people that have been there that can give you advice on how to get through it the right way, and how to get through it strong, and how to get through it 100%. So my third and favorite podcast is Laid Motherfucking Bear. I've learned, Laid Bear, let me say it for y'all properly. I've learned so much from Laid Bear, y'all. Like, y'all just don't understand. Laid Bear is such a beautiful podcast with sexual health. All these other 3 podcasts talk about it, but Laid Bear is centered around this. It was created by Aloni, and I just love her and her co-host, Scotty Unfamous on Instagram, and Shania Jamila on Instagram, and then Aloni is on Instagram too. They have all the same Instagram. I'm gonna actually post all those podcasts right here so that you guys can see. But when I tell you guys, this podcast has taught me so much. I was in a situationship when I first started actually listening to this podcast, and when I realized the advice that they were giving and the things that they were talking about, when I realized that I was in a situationship and I was being treated how I was not supposed to be treated, and that I didn't deserve this and I deserve better, through the podcast and learning about things sexually, mentally, consent, different things about sex, different things about basically the female body, just being a woman, things like that. I decided that situationship wasn't for me, and this podcast actually helped me get out of that. Now I'm like celibate and I'm just single than a motherfucker Pringle out here, you know what I mean? But story for another day. But definitely listen to this podcast. Like, all these podcasts, like, guys, these podcasts are life-changing, and things that are created by Black people for Black people, that they see your experience, they understand your experience and everything. It just feels so, when you can laugh and you could relate to everything they say, and some things they say is what's going on in your life or what's going on, and they understand you. It really melts my heart. It's because it's just like, yo, like, they understand me, my guy. Like, they know what I'm going through, like, and they've been there. And my 4th podcast is Joka. It's a Senegalese podcast. And there's 2 girls on there. The creator of the podcast I met on Instagram through basically a live where I was speaking about Senegalese issues like drugs and the double standard of men and women and everything like that. So I met her through there, and then I asked her or she told me her podcast, and from there we just talked a little bit. So I listened to her podcast. It basically gives the outlook of the Senegalese American experience. Not only do I love her podcast, but her page on Instagram is so inspiring. She promotes and she just oozes out the symbol, or just the whole Senegalese experience, the Senegalese culture, just the African culture. Like her representation on Instagram to me is so beautiful. I love how much she represents Senegal, and she just represents being Senegalese and being African. And I love her. Like, I love her so much. I'm also gonna tag her podcast and her on Instagram up there. And my last one is Goddamn Kylan Show or Keelan Show. I don't know if I'm saying the name right. I'm bad with American names. So yeah, he's very much fucking real. I've known him since Twitter, and from Twitter is where I, found out about his podcast, which he created. But since he was on Twitter, I love the way he talks. I love how he talks about African American issues. I love how he talks about life. I love how he talks about relationships. I love how he talks about how Black women should be treated. I love how he's so real, and how he's so honest, and how he's so straight to the point. And yeah, I just love that about him. All these podcasts are created by either Black, African women, or just Black people, period, or men. So four of these 5 podcasts are created by women, and it's African women, and the last one, it's a African American man. I love for Black people by Black people. I'm all about Black business. I'm all about supporting. From the shoes that I wear sometimes, to the wigs that I get made, to the hair that I buy, to who does my hair, to the clothes I wear, to the makeup I use, to the makeup wipes I use, to the art on my walls, to the skincare, to the lotion, to the freaking what else do I have that's Black owned? Shit, hair care, almost everything, soap, all that shit, baby, skincare, all that is Black owned. I definitely support my people 100% because the Black dollar needs to make its mark. So thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.